I had just stepped out of the shower when a stinging slap landed hard across my face. Olivia gritted her teeth, demanding, "Ethan, are you trying to seduce my mother dressed like that?" I looked down at my baggy t-shirt and long pants, confused. She sneered, "The moment you came out, my mom stared at you for 3 seconds. Before she even finished, she kicked me in the groin, and I crumpled to the floor in agony." The doorbell rang. She instantly smiled, and went to open it. As our daughter ran into a man's arms, I looked up, recognized his face, and my entire body tensed. He was back. Olivia, my wife, a CEO with an 8-figure annual salary, looked down at me. "Ethan, are you trying to seduce my mother dressed like that? You stay-at-home husband. Why are you showering in the middle of the day? Don't you know water bills are higher then? Would it kill you to wait until night? You spend all day at home like a parasite, living a life of leisure, while I am out working myself to death. Can't you show a little consideration?" With that, she lifted her 4-inch heel and angrily stepped on me. Martha, my mother-in-law, looked flustered, her face as red as a boiled shrimp, whether from shame, anger, or something else. I couldn't tell. She mumbled, "Olivia, what nonsense are you talking?" Mia, our daughter, ran over and started flailing her fists at my face. "Bad thing, don't you bully mommy, I'll beat you to death." Suddenly, the doorbell rang, and Olivia got up to answer it. When she saw who it was, a blush unconsciously crept onto her face. Her voice was incredibly soft. "John, what brings you here?" Hearing the commotion, Mia quickly got off me, and ran into the man's arms. "Uncle, you finally came to see me." The man swept Mia into his arms, and, in broken Chinese, said, "Little princess, even prettier." Olivia stood meekly beside him, a smile playing on her lips, watching them with adoration. This heartwarming scene looked exactly like a happy, harmonious family. I numbly got up from the floor, looking at the man before me as if facing a formidable enemy. Mia glanced at me, then turned to him, and said, "Uncle, put me down." After was put down, she ran directly towards me. I smiled with relief, squatting down and opening my arms. "Mia, sweetie, come here, Daddy will hug you." Mia glared at me, pouted, and whispered, "Bad thing, so ill-mannered, you didn't even pour Uncle some water." Soon, she carried a cup of water and carefully walked to the man. "Uncle, have some water." My heart ached as if pierced by needles. Since was born, Olivia had never taken care of her for a single day. I did everything myself. I couldn't count how many diapers I'd changed for her, how many nights I'd stayed up. In 5 years, she had never poured me a glass of water, or said a single comforting word. From the day she started to babble, Olivia pointed at me and taught her, "Bad thing." I corrected her countless times, but the phrase "bad thing" seemed etched into her mind. Olivia took out a beautifully wrapped gift box from a drawer, and smiling, handed it to him. "John, thank you for teaching me how to swim. Here is a small gift. I hope you like it." The man unwrapped it to find a luxury car key. His eyes lit up, and he smirked provocatively at me. "Ms. Olivia, I love it. Thank you." I stared blankly at the key, recognizing it as the car I had admired several times at the car dealership, but hesitated to buy. Olivia only gave me $1,000 for living expenses each month, which, after daily necessities, left almost nothing. I had pleaded with her to buy me a car for errands, something practical for picking Mia up from school and going to the grocery store, but each time Olivia would tear into me. "Ethan, you don't earn money. You don't know how hard it is to make a living these days. Would it kill you to walk?" I had no reply, and from then on, I never dared to bring up buying a car again. Before leaving, the man put his arm around my shoulder and said, "Ethan, I am taking Mia and Ms. Olivia for a swim lesson. I'll drop by again another time." I looked at Mia, wanting to speak but holding back. "Mia, why don't you stay home with Daddy? You can learn to swim later." The man shot me a look of disdain. "Ethan, you're not questioning my professionalism, are you?" I shook my head and whispered to him, "Mia has a heart condition. She can't go in the water." The man, uncaring, took Mia's hand and walked away with Olivia. I watched their receding figures and loudly instructed Olivia, "Absolutely do not let Mia go in the water." Martha sighed, speaking earnestly, "Ethan, Olivia has been spoiled by me. Her father is also away on business. Don't be angry with Olivia. When he returns, I'll have her father talk to her properly. Could you go watch them? Mia has a congenital heart condition. and I am a bit worried with Olivia taking her out. Martha had always been kind to me, so I nodded obediently. Olivia and I were college classmates. The only reason she noticed me was that I was the only guy in our entire class who didn't fawn over her. She felt her ego was bruised, so she began relentlessly pursuing me. At first, whatever she did, I remained unmoved, but later, when my mother was hospitalized with a heart condition, I eventually succumbed to the power of money and fell for her. Married life was unremarkable, but we respected each other. That was until 3 months ago, when she met John, and her personality changed completely. John was a black swimming instructor, introduced by Olivia's best friend. He was in his 20s, tall and muscular. Though his Chinese was poor, he managed to make Olivia ecstatic. Even, who had only met him once, was dreaming and calling out, "Uncle, when can we go out and play again?" After repeatedly assuring Martha that I would take good care of Mia, I took a taxi directly to Sterling City's largest exclusive swim club. Pushing open the door, the sight before me instantly sent blood rushing to my head. Olivia was wearing a black, tight-fitting swimsuit, held entirely in John's arms, with his hand resting on her lower abdomen. Their gestures were intimate, and Mia was staring intently at them, propping her chin in her hands. I quickly walked to Mia's side, wanting to take her away. Just as I was about to reach her, I was suddenly tripped by a pair of small feet. My head hit the floor hard, and Mia's bell-like laughter rang in my ears. Ha ha ha, the bad thing tripped. Olivia turned to look at me, her face instantly darkening. She spat viciously. "Ethan, when did you learn such low-life tactics as stalking? You interrupting my swimming lesson with John. I want you to apologize to him." Warm blood trickled down my forehead, but I stubbornly raised my head and asked her, "Why should I apologize to him?" Olivia smiled threateningly. "If you don't apologize, well, get a divorce." After marrying Olivia, the word divorce had become her catchphrase. Every time she brought up divorce, I instantly gave in, but this time, I didn't want to go against my heart anymore. Seeing me unmoved, Olivia swam out of the water and angrily strode towards me. She grabbed my hair, slammed my head repeatedly onto the ground, forcing my head down in apology to John over and over. Mia clapped her small hands on the side, laughing and shouting, "Great job! Great job!" My head felt like it was splitting open, and my heart ached so much I could barely breathe. I spoke with difficulty. "I am here to take Mia home." Only then did Olivia release me. Mia pouted, hugging her arms. "I don't want to go home with you. Bad thing. I want to be with mommy and uncle." Her words pierced my heart like a sharp knife, leaving me utterly wounded. I picked myself up from the ground, covered in dust and shame, and left the swim club feeling utterly dejected. On the way, I received a call from Olivia. For the first time, I consciously pressed hang up, but then the phone rang again. I frowned and answered. "Olivia, what exactly do you want to say?" "Ethan, Mia drowned." Olivia's voice, on the verge of breakdown, suddenly came through the phone. My entire body froze, my heart pounding relentlessly. I forced myself to sound calm. "Don't panic. I'll be at the hospital right away." Hanging up, I slapped myself several times, guilt and self-blame washing over me like a tide. If only I had insisted on staying at the swim club, or taking Mia home, she wouldn't have drowned. I quickly told the driver to turn around, and with a heavy heart, I arrived at the hospital. Thankfully, Mia wasn't in life-threatening danger. I didn't even bother wiping the sweat from my forehead as I anxiously pushed open the hospital room door. Mia lay on the bed, her face pale, while Olivia and John sat beside her on the bed. My eyes red, I asked her, "How did Mia drown?" Olivia stammered for a long time, while John guiltily lowered his head. My intuition told me that John was definitely involved. Seeing me glare at John, Olivia's brow furrowed, and she instinctively defended him. "Ethan, I didn't watch Mia properly. She accidentally fell into the water. Why are you staring at John so fiercely? This has nothing to do with him. Don't scare him." I never thought Olivia would go to such lengths to protect him at a time like this. Olivia was still defending this black man. Overwhelmed by fury, my vision blurred, and I suddenly fainted. When I opened my eyes again, Mia was already awake. Olivia and John were nowhere to be found. Seeing me next to her, she pouted and whispered, "I am hungry." I immediately got up to buy her favorite digestive broth, jogging the whole way without a moment's delay, afraid she might be hungry. When I rushed back with the broth, Mia was contentedly eating the fried chicken and hamburger John had bought. I opened the lid of the hot broth and carefully offered it to Mia. "Mia, sweetie, fried chicken and hamburgers are too greasy. Your stomach is sensitive, and you just woke up. How about some broth instead? Mia stubbornly shook her head, and, with a flick of her hand, splashed the hot broth onto the floor. A flicker of panic crossed her face, but she defiantly said, "I don't want broth, I just want the fried chicken and hamburger Uncle bought. I don't want you, go away." A sharp pain pierced my chest, my heart felt as if it had shattered into many pieces. Seeing the pain on my face, Olivia slowly walked to my side, and tried to comfort me. Mia just woke up, let her eat whatever she wants. I didn't say anything more. I silently cleaned up the spilled broth on the floor and then turned, and left the hospital. That night, as I lay in bed tossing and turning, I received a call from Olivia. "Ethan, Mia has gastroenteritis and a fever, what do we do?" I ignored Olivia's frantic tone and yawned. "If she has a fever, call a doctor. If she's hungry, call John." My tone was sincere yet calm. Olivia shrieked as if I'd stepped on her tail. "Ethan, what kind of attitude is that? Is she your daughter or not? John and I are here running around, while he's sleeping soundly at home. Even a stranger cares more than you do. If he weren't here helping, I would have collapsed long ago. Do you even want to make this work?" If not, the moment I hung up, the entire world went silent. A few days later, Mia finally recovered. Olivia, using the excuse that John could conveniently take care of Mia, brazenly had him move into our home. She casually instructed me, "John isn't used to Chinese cuisine, so from now on, all 3 meals a day will be Western style. I still haven't mastered a few moves. Pack your things and move to the guest room with Mia." I didn't say anything, calmly went to the bedroom to pack my things, and moved into the guest room. That night, I lay in bed tossing and turning, while Mia slept soundly beside me. At 2 in the morning, waves of ambiguous gasps and moans emanated from the room next door, growing louder and louder. My hands clenched involuntarily. I longed to kick down their door, lash out at them, and beat that black man senseless. But I found a metallic taste in my throat, unable to utter a sound. Every gasp they made pierced me like a sharp knife. Repeatedly twisting it, their shouts woke up Mia, who was sound asleep. She rubbed her drowsy eyes. She asked me, her face full of confusion, "What's that noise? Is someone bothering mommy?" I struggled to control the surge of emotion, clenched my fists, took a few deep breaths, and calmly said, "Mia, no one's bothering mommy. Mommy's just exercising." With that, Mia laid her head back down and fell asleep again. I quietly got out of bed and knocked fiercely on the next room's door. Half an hour later, Olivia, her face ashen, opened the door. She pulled her pajamas tighter and impatiently asked me, "Ethan, it's the middle of the night, why aren't you sleeping with Mia? What are you knocking for?" I bit my lip hard and asked her, word for word, "What exactly are you and John doing? Are you two behind my back?" Before I could finish, Olivia angrily cut me off. "Ethan, a dirty mind sees dirt everywhere. I told you John and I were discussing techniques. If you don't believe me, well, get a divorce." John lay on the bed, the blanket covering his lower body, his dark chest exposed. He smirked provocatively at me, as if calling me a coward. Olivia slammed the door shut with a bang. Not long after, the muffled moans and deep groans resumed. I lay in bed, my eyes fixed on the ceiling. It felt like an eternity before the sounds finally stopped, and dawn broke. In the morning, Olivia and John leisurely came to the dining table. Seeing the table empty, Olivia frowned, and unhappily questioned me, "Ethan, did my words just go in one ear and out the other? Where's the Western-style meal I told you to prepare for John?" I shrugged, crossing my arms. "That's right, I didn't prepare his breakfast. I am your husband. Why should I serve breakfast to a black man?" Seeing my anger, John came over warmly, and put his arm around mine. "Ethan, don't be angry, Ms. Olivia and I just had some in-depth discussions about techniques last night. It was really nothing." My heart sank suddenly, but I calmly patted his hand. "Thank you, you really worked hard." My words inexplicably infuriated Olivia. She pulled John behind her, and slapped me hard across the face. "Ethan, what exactly is with your passive-aggressive attitude? I'll tell you the truth. So what if John and I did it? He's bigger than you. He satisfies me more. He can give me pleasure. Can you?" Hearing admitted herself, it felt as though something within me instantly collapsed. There was no breakdown as I'd expected, no piercing pain. Perhaps my heart had already died completely amidst their entangled sounds last night. There is no greater sorrow than a heart that is dead. Perhaps that's exactly how I felt at that moment. I bowed to John, my face devoid of expression as I looked at him. I can't give her happiness. From now on, her happiness is in your hands. A flicker of mockery crossed John's eyes. He suddenly dropped to his knees and tugged at my pant leg. Ethan, I am sorry. If you mind, I'll disappear from Ms. Olivia's sight completely. No sooner had he spoken than Olivia exploded in a rage, her eyes bulging as she glared at me, her face contorted. Ethan, what kind of attitude is that? You can't give her pleasure, and you won't let anyone else either. Apologize to John right now, or we'll get a divorce. At that moment, Mia ran out of the bedroom. She started hitting me with her fists and feet. Bad thing, you dared to bully Uncle. He'll beat you to death. I froze for a moment, then I laughed, and as I laughed, tears streamed down my face. I slowly closed my eyes. The part of my heart that once ached seemed to feel no more pain. After a long while, I opened my eyes and slowly said, "All right, let's get a divorce." As I spoke, John couldn't hide his excitement, a slight smirk playing on his lips. Olivia froze for a moment, then quickly composed herself. When I finished packing my luggage and was ready to leave, the smiles on Olivia and Mia's faces gradually faded. John feigned concern and stopped me. "Ethan, what are you doing?" Olivia looked up and scoffed at me. "Ethan, you don't want the home, so you don't want your mother either." Hearing's threat, a chill ran through my entire body. I looked at her in disbelief. "Olivia, you'd actually threaten my mother's life for him?" Olivia frowned impatiently. "Ethan, known for being a dutiful son, think carefully. Are you really going to stand by and watch your mother lose her life because of you?" At that moment, I felt as if countless arrows pierced my heart. Watching's face grow colder and realizing she was serious, I put my luggage back down. Only then did Olivia's expression soften. She took Mia's hand and walked away with John. The moment the door closed, a wave of dizziness washed over me, and I collapsed heavily. When I opened my eyes again, my phone screen suddenly lit up. It was a call from the hospital. I immediately answered. "Hello, is this Mr. Shen? Your mother passed away due to a sudden heart attack after her treatment payments were discontinued. Please accept our condolences." I felt as if struck by lightning, mumbling to myself, "No, this can't be." I shot up from the floor like a madman, rushed out the door, and headed to the hospital. When I opened the door, I saw Olivia in the living room busily serving John tea and water, while Mia sat obediently on John's lap. What a harmonious and heartwarming scene. Raging fury threatened to consume me, but I forced myself to remain calm. I lunged forward to Olivia, demanding, "Why were my mother's treatment payments discontinued?" Olivia scoffed indifferently. "Who told you to bring up divorce with me? This is a lesson. It's just a temporary halt to the hospital payments. Why are you so emotional? Your mother won't die. I am warning you, only I can bring up the word divorce. Ethan, you're not worthy. You figure out your mother's expenses yourself. I won't pay another cent, of course, if you get on your knees and apologize to John and me, and swear you'll never mention divorce again. I can continue the hospital payments." Her words pushed me to the brink of collapse. I could no longer hold back and roared at her, "No need. Let's get a divorce." Olivia stood with one hand on her hip, sharply scolding me. "Ethan, don't be so ungrateful. If you dare step out the door today, you can forget about your mother's medical bills and Mia's custody." I didn't respond under their intense gazes. I calmly walked towards the door. Mia saw my resolute figure and suddenly got off John's lap, quietly asking, "Daddy, where are you going?" Her voice was very soft and faint. Heaven knew I had yearned for that daddy for many years. Normally, I would have excitedly hugged her close, begging her to say it a few more times. But at this moment, my already scarred heart felt nothing. I resolutely walked out the door, while behind me, Mia urgently tugged at Olivia's hand. Tiptoeing, she anxiously asked her, "Mommy, where is Daddy going?" I called him. Why didn't he answer me? Olivia hugged her, comforting her. "Mia, don't worry, he'll be back soon. Isn't Uncle here with you? Don't you like being with Uncle the most?" They continued to chatter about something, their voices growing fainter and fainter until the door closed. Seeing the door finally close, Mia's emotions completely broke down. She began to wail and throw a tantrum. "Wah, I want Daddy. Mommy, make him come back." Olivia looked at her with a headache, trying to console her repeatedly. "Mia, sweetie, Daddy will be back very soon. Will you play with Uncle for a while?" John understood, immediately crouching down to coax her. "Mia, little princess, Uncle will take you to the amusement park, okay? Mia forcefully pushed John away. I don't want you, I only want Daddy. Olivia sighed softly and patiently coaxed Mia for a long time, before finally getting her to sleep. Somehow, Ethan's resolute figure suddenly flashed in her mind, and Olivia's heart abruptly ached. She immediately convinced herself that Ethan was a renowned, dutiful son, and for his mother, he would definitely come back. Back then, she was the campus beauty queen. Almost every guy in the department fell for her, yet Ethan remained distant and indifferently rejected her. Ethan's cool demeanor ignited her desire to conquer him. From that day on, she began to relentlessly pursue Ethan. She lowered her guard and tried to please Ethan, but he remained unmoved. It wasn't until she heard a classmate say that Ethan had a critically ill mother, and was working multiple part-time jobs a month to save money for her medical expenses. She found Ethan and offered to cover his mother's hospitalization costs if he agreed to be with her. Ethan considered for a moment, then agreed. They naturally became a couple. After marriage, she forcefully demanded that Ethan resign from his company. From then on, she handled external affairs, and Ethan managed the household. Married life was mundane, like still water, until 3 months ago, when her best friend introduced her to a black swimming instructor named John. He was completely different from Ethan, powerfully built, tall, and with a distinct foreign accent. She became obsessed with swimming, or rather, with the feeling she got when swimming with John. Then one day, as she was casually swimming in the water, John suddenly came up beside her. He encircled her from behind, his warm breath on her ear. When you swim, your body needs to relax. Olivia felt a jolt of electricity run through her body, and the tingling sensation made her feel lightheaded. So when John reached his hand inside her swimsuit, she felt ecstatic, completely giving up any resistance. John's movements grew bolder, and they indulged themselves freely in the water. After that day, Olivia completely fell in love with the feeling of having an affair, checking into the swim club punctually after work every day. One time, Mia insisted on coming along. At first, Olivia was worried Mia would tell Ethan. Unexpectedly, Mia really liked John and quickly befriended him. For so many years, Ethan had been completely obedient to her. Whatever she asked, Ethan found a way to satisfy. Olivia was convinced that Ethan was madly in love with her, even if there was no love between them. She only gave Ethan a meager allowance each month, and Ethan had no other income. With just that, Ethan couldn't possibly afford his mother's medical expenses. He had no choice but to repeatedly lower his standards to please her. So when Ethan agreed to a divorce for the first time, Olivia became furious. After all these years, she did have feelings for Ethan. Her affair with John was just a fleeting fling. She knew perfectly well that once her passion faded, she would ultimately have to return to her family. To make Ethan completely give up the idea of divorce, she didn't hesitate to notify the hospital to directly stop his mother's treatment payments. She vowed to teach Ethan a lesson, to make him never dare mention divorce to her again. But when she saw Ethan's desperate eyes and resolute figure as he left, a moment of panic flashed in Olivia's heart. A thought quietly crossed her mind, but Olivia quickly shook her head, dismissing it. No, Ethan wouldn't. She believed that in a couple of days, when the hospital informed Ethan that the medical funds were insufficient, he would quickly come back begging her. She waited eagerly. After leaving the house, I rushed to the hospital. Standing in the hospital morgue, my legs trembled incessantly. I still couldn't believe it. My father died in a car accident when I was 5. My mother raised me all by herself. For all these years, she had endured countless hardships for me, never enjoying a single day of comfort. I clenched my fists and tremblingly pulled back the white sheet covering the body. On that familiar face, ice crystals still clung to her eyelashes. A faint smile touched her lips, and her expression was peaceful. I clenched my jaw, the muscles in my entire face trembling uncontrollably. I fell to my knees before her body, unable to rise. When I finally stood, my reddened eyes held a deep, simmering hatred. As I hurried out of the hospital, I collided with someone coming from the opposite direction. I quickly stepped back, putting some distance between us, and apologized profusely. I am so sorry. I didn't mean to. Are you all right? As our eyes met, a flicker of shock crossed the woman's face, immediately followed by immense surprise. Seeing my detached expression, she took the initiative to greet me. Ethan, don't you recognize me? I am Harper, your college classmate. It took me a moment to realize it. Back in college, our grades were neck and neck. After graduation, she started her own business, building a multinational company from scratch. She had an architectural engineering company overseas, and had emailed me several times, extending an olive branch for me to join her, but for Olivia, Mia, and my mother, I had declined, giving the excuse that I wasn't considering working overseas at the moment. After learned about my situation with Olivia, she comforted me thoughtfully. You and Olivia were never a good match to begin with, there wasn't much affection, so it was bound to not last long. The priority now is to divorce her, it'll help you figure out the rest. I paused for a moment, then smiled with a sense of relief. Right. Olivia and I really should bring this to an end. After I moved out, Olivia and John became even bolder. She not only let John live at home permanently, but also had him quit his job as a private swim club instructor, and arranged for him to work at Olivia. John's social media feed was full of subtle displays of affection, luxury cars, expensive watches, high-end suits. He changed outfits several times a day. During this period, I called Olivia several times to discuss the divorce, but each time ended badly. The day Olivia's father returned from overseas, he called to invite me back for a family dinner. Now that I was alone, and Olivia had been dragging her feet on the divorce, it was time for them to know about it. I carried the divorce agreement, 2 bottles of fine scotch, and arrived at the family estate right on time. Seeing me arrive alone, Martha's eyes darkened, and Henry's eyes showed surprise. He called Martha aside and quietly asked if Olivia and I had been arguing lately, and why we hadn't come together. Martha stammered for a long time, unable to give a clear explanation. Henry fumed, telling Martha to quickly call Olivia and Mia back. Half an hour later, Olivia's car pulled into the family estate. John, dressed in a black suit, slowly got out of the passenger seat. He eagerly walked to the driver's side, and thoughtfully opened the door for Olivia. John smiled and extended his hand, but Olivia casually avoided it and calmly stepped out. John then obsequiously ran to the back to open the car door for Mia, just as he was about to reach out to carry her. Mia pushed him away with a shove, a crude insult. Get lost, don't touch me. A flicker of embarrassment crossed John's face, but he quickly composed himself and followed Olivia, grinning, into the house. After saw John carrying large bags and bundles enter the house behind Olivia. His face immediately darkened. Mia saw me sitting on the sofa watching TV, her small face flushed, and she seemed to want to speak but held back. Henry told Martha to take Mia aside, then turned and snapped at Olivia. Olivia, who is he? Before could even explain. John, showing a wide grin, quickly walked up to Henry and familiarly took his arm. Hello, uncle, I am Olivia's boyfriend. My name is John, nice to meet you. Henry's face grew even darker. He grabbed a bottle of fine scotch and struck John with it. Instantly, the fine scotch shattered, and John winced in pain. The aroma of the scotch filled the air, and I sat on the sofa, inhaling the scent deeply. Henry was so enraged his voice changed pitch. You rebellious daughter, are you trying to kill me with anger? What exactly is your relationship with this black man? Are you going to break up this perfectly good family? Seeing anger, Olivia immediately distanced herself from John, explaining, Dad, don't be angry, don't listen to his nonsense. He's just my assistant, and he drove me home today. If you don't want to see him, I'll send him back. Hearing this, John instantly became unhappy. Chinese culture is profound and vast, far beyond his immediate comprehension. In his mind, what was said in front of elders was the truth. Sending him back meant cutting ties and firing him. He had finally managed to latch onto a wealthy, beautiful woman like Olivia and experienced the satisfaction of being a rich, handsome man. How could he possibly be content going back to being a low-income swim instructor? So he mustered the courage to announce their relationship in front of the elders, forcing Olivia to give him a proper status. He knelt on one knee, his voice loud and words clear. Olivia, I love you. We've been intimate so many times. I've fallen deeply in love with you. Please give me a chance to take care of. Before he could finish, Henry, enraged, slapped Olivia across the face, clutching his chest and cursing, You scoundrel. You've shamed the Henry family completely. I watched the chaotic scene with a blank expression, then pulled out the divorce agreement, and gently placed it on the table. I turned to Olivia and said, I am giving you 1 week. Sign it, and we can part ways amicably. I'll see you at the courthouse on Monday. If there's nothing else, I'll be going now. I won't bother you further. Olivia's eyes immediately reddened, her face full of disbelief. She opened her mouth, her voice choked. Ethan, are you sure? Are you really going to divorce me? Mia had run out of the bedroom at some point and was crying, pulling at my pant leg. Daddy, don't go. I bent down, patted her head, and gently pried her fingers one by one. I softly comforted her. Mia, don't cry, you still have mommy. If you want, I'll have many other daddies in the future. She shook her head, crying, I don't want anyone else to be my daddy. I only want you. You are my daddy. Martha timely chimed in, you've suffered, my child. We didn't raise Olivia well, but marriage is not a game. You must think carefully. My expression shifted slightly. I bowed to her and Henry, and said faintly, I've thought it through very clearly. Henry, Martha, thank you for your care all these years. With that, disregarding the stunned faces of everyone, I walked straight out of the family estate's main gate. I suddenly let out a long breath, never having felt so light and free. I thought Olivia and I would part ways amicably, but to my surprise, the next day she came knocking on my door with Mia. Her eyes flickered. She took out a Mercedes-Benz key, and pressed it into my hand. She urgently said, Ethan, John and I are completely over. I've thought it through. My feelings for him were just a momentary infatuation. What happened before was my fault. Please, give me another chance, okay? Didn't you always want a car for errands? That previous one wasn't good enough for you. I specifically went to the car dealership, and picked out a Mercedes-Benz for you. Please, take it. Mia extended her small hands appealingly, wanting me to hug her. Daddy, don't ignore Mia. You used to love hugging me the most. Will you hug me again? I ignored her, tossing the car key to the ground with a whoosh. Just as I was about to close the door, Olivia, infuriated, pointed at my nose, and yelled at me, Ethan, don't bite the hand that feeds you. Mia and I came to see you, giving you enough respect. What more do you want? I absolutely refuse to divorce you. If you dare to divorce me, I won't transfer another cent to the hospital, and you can just watch your mother die. I scoffed, a sarcastic smile on my face. See, this was the real Olivia. My mother is already dead because of you. She died of a sudden heart attack the very night you cut off her hospital payments. If I had known this would be the outcome, I never would have married you. What goes around comes around. I shouldn't have placed my hopes in you. I only blame myself for making the wrong choice. With that, I slammed the door shut, then turned, and rented another apartment. During this time, Olivia incessantly called and texted me. She said she had sent John back overseas, and he would never appear before us again. She said Mia missed me terribly, and was constantly crying for her daddy to come back. She said she knew she had made a mistake, and would live a good life with me from then on. She would manage the household while I handled external affairs, striving to be a devoted wife and loving mother. I found it laughable. If only she had realized that sooner. Why did she do what she did? With help, 3 months later I finally received my divorce certificate, and with that, my marriage to Olivia was completely over. Once everything was settled, I turned off my phone, changed my number, and boarded a flight overseas with Harper. I hadn't expected to integrate so quickly into the demanding work. The focused routine of my daily life felt incredibly fulfilling. It wasn't until a month later that Olivia reappeared, shattering everything. What are you doing here? Ethan, I've missed you so much. We spoke at the same time. Our eyes met unexpectedly. Her eyes were red, as if she held an endless well of sorrow. Can't you give me another chance? After you left, I realized Mia, and I can't live without you. Her voice was hoarse, almost grating, and she had heavy dark circles under her eyes, as if she hadn't rested well in a long time. I said calmly, we're already divorced. Don't bother me again. My words made tears instantly gush from her eyes. She suddenly rushed forward and forcefully embraced me. Her hot, wet tears soaked the back of my neck. I pushed her away in disgust, retreating to a safe distance. Olivia, I've made myself very clear. You go your separate way, and I'll go mine. Just then, a cool voice sounded from behind me. Ethan, what are you doing? I quickly walked to Harper's side, took her hand, and desperately signaled her, and only then did she understand to play along with me. She leaned into my embrace, feigning hurt, and asked, who is she? Seeing an expression of hurt on Olivia's face that I had never seen before, I knew the tactic had worked. Sure enough, she immediately glared at me furiously. Ethan, you really outdid yourself. How long has it been? And you already have someone new. What do Mia and I mean to you? What a clever trick. I guess I was foolish to misjudge you. Hearing her say that, I clenched my fists tightly, suppressing the lump in my throat, and spoke with my back to her, just realizing that, because compared to you, I am nowhere near as skilled. After saying that, I ignored her. I put my arm around Harper's waist and turned to leave. 3 years later, I had firmly established myself overseas. Meanwhile, Olivia's best friend, Sarah, managed to contact me. She said that after divorcing me, Olivia spent her days drowning her sorrows in alcohol, her spirits depressed, and she had developed stomach cancer. By the time it was discovered, it was already in its late stages. Now she was clinging to life in a hospital room, asking to see me. She said Mia was sensible now and really wanted me to come back. All her other classmates had fathers, and she wanted a father too. I asked Sarah to tell her that everything between us was completely over and I would not see them again for the rest of our lives. Later, I heard that after she delivered my message, Olivia, filled with resentment, took her last breath. Olivia's parents were left burying their child. They cried so much at the funeral they fainted several times. Mia was raised by them, and I settled overseas. I looked up at the azure sky, feeling that all the troubling things that once bothered me were drifting further and further away. As for the future, I'll take it one step at a time.